and welcome to day 21 of our 90 days data analytics training. I am excited to have you back. It's a cold morning, and today we are basically talking about Excel data validation and dynamic dropdowns. I'll basically show you how to create dropdown lists in Excel, showing you how to apply it in the practical world. So let's get straight into the tutorial. So data validation basically helps us control what users enter into a cell. It also helps us prevent data entry error. It helps guide users with drop-down lists so that they know what to pick from. Let's say we have products in our store and we want to create an Excel sheet for the person that will be standing on the counter, that will be attending to people, so they will know the available products. So we can already create a drop-down list that will show the list of products that are available, so the person don't just assume. And we also use data validation to set rules for acceptable inputs. If we have a column and maybe we have whole numbers in that column and we don't want to allow anything other than whole number, we don't want to allow text, we don't want to allow decimal point number, we can set the rule as well. And these are some of the things we use data validation for in Excel. Why should we learn data validation? It helps maintain data consistency. Imagine the part where I said it helps us set rule for acceptable input. So consistency in the fact that when a column contains number, it will not allow textual data. That's consistency. We don't want to mix up different data types. That is just one of these scenarios where we make use of it. 2, it helps reduce wrong entries. 3, it makes your Excel file more user-friendly. It becomes more user-friendly when you already created drop-down. Instead of them guessing that, oh, maybe they have these products or they have these products, they already have a drop-down showing them the list of products you have. It is also essential for data entry tasks and dashboards. So let's see how we can apply data validation in a practical world. Let's make use of this data set we used in our previous class. We want to see how we can apply basic data visualization to this data set. And I'll start by working with this unit sold column, which is numeric. So first, we are going to set a rule that it should only allow whole number in this particular column. All right. So let me select the column. All right. After selecting the column, I want to come here to the data tab. And then under the data tools, you see this one we check data validation. I'll click on it, and then you can see we can set our validation criteria here. First is asking me what number I want to allow, right? I want to only allow whole number. You see, if it's only decimal you want to allow, if you want to allow any value, if you want to allow decimal, a list, dates, custom will make you specify what you actually want to allow. But this time around, we're allowing whole number. So I'll click on whole number. And then it's asking me for the range between the minimum and the maximum that I want to allow. Filter. So you can see 10 is like the minimum and 99 is like the maximum. Minimum should be 10 and maximum should be 99. All right. So I can say, okay. So aside that, you can set other input message. You can send error alerts. But I'll get to that. Let's do the simple one and see how it works. So I'm going to say okay. So once I say okay, it's just going to do as if nothing has happened, right? But let's try to change one of the numbers. Let me change this to 9. Remember the validation rule we set is that the number there must be between 10 and 99. 9 is less than 10. So let's see if it's going to accept it. When I click enter, can you see this value doesn't match the data validation restriction defined for this cell? So we can specify what we want to allow. If I retry, it's going to still throw me that error. Can you see? And it's going to keep throwing me that error. And if I cancel, it's going to change it back to the value that was there initially. If they want to add another entry, let's say they want to add unit sold to be 105, and it's going to throw them an error. Remember that I selected the entire column, not just where the value stopped. So if you select the entire column, whatever value they want to keep inputting in that column, it must follow the rule that you set. All right, so you can also take out time to explore this other data validation. We have values that you can allow. You can check out for decimal. So this list is basically for creating a drop down list, and I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. So you can say you want to only allow date, time, text string, custom. So you can specify maybe with a formula or whatever what you want to allow. So you can explore this, right? So let's apply another data validation to another column, and then I'll set an error alert so you see how it works. All right, so now let's try the validation on another column. Let me use this unit price as an example, right? We want to set data validation to specify the type of data we want to allow. And also we are going to set an error alert, so when they don't enter between the range we specify, then it shows them an error so they know where they are getting it wrong. And also we can set input message that will guide them, that will make them understand that okay, we've set a particular rule for this column. So it looks like the value is between 2.56 and $15. We are going to set the limit to like from 1, because we don't have a product less than $1, so we can set from 1 to 50. So I've highlighted the column, right? What I'll do now is come here to the data to click on data validation, and now I'm gonna go to the settings. The setting is the first place you come to. We want to allow is a float, so we are going to click on decimal. And data, you can click on greater than, not equals to, all of these things. You can just say it. So I'm going to say between, right? Because I want to specify my starting value and my end value, right? But you can check, you can explore it after the class. So the input message is just basically like, before they even type, if they are just looking at the column, what message should it show them? $1 to $50. And then error alert, if they fail to now input that number, should it give them a warning sign or information or stop? Let me use stop for this example. So what would be the error message? I'll say kindly, okay? So you're just going to set an error message. Okay, so let's say okay and see how it works. You can see once on this column, it's saying please input price between 1 to 50. That's the input message that we added. So that one will show us, will like guide us before we even want to like input anything at all. So let's say we want to try to change this unit price to 55. Remember the highest we specified was 50. So if you try to change it to 55 now, let's press enter. You can see the error message is not just giving us the general error message. Now we specify the error message to guide the user so they know what the error is. So you can explicitly specify why, that the range for our price in our company is between this and this, and you just exceeded it or something like that. So you can set input message and error alerts when you are working with data validation. Okay, so let's quickly see an example of how we can create a static drop-down list in Excel. So I've created this sample data that we are going to use. So I'm just trying to create some generic customer ID. And do you know the beauty of data entry? Once it's following a pattern 201, 2, 3, I can easily just click on the last one and drag down. It's gonna give me the number. That's another trick you just learned. Okay, so let's say we want to specify the product that the customer got, the quantity, and the payment method. But we know that we have just 3 payment methods, and we have specific products that we have that they can only buy from. So what we can do is, I can have maybe another sheet, or in the same worksheet somewhere around, you just list out the products, right? So those are the products that we have available, right? And the quantity, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the payment method, let's say we have cash, card, and transfer. All right, so these are the basic things, that this is the product we have, this is the quantity, and this is the payment method. So every time we have a client, we want to streamline our process. So the data entry specialists don't have to like start typing products, try to think of the spelling or different things like that. It will even reduce data entry error, like data cleaning that we have to do, because now they are just picking from the list that we already created. All right, so let's say we are starting with the product, right? We want to have a drop down for the product. I'm going to highlight the column, or you can just basically select the cells. And then we'll come to data, Then we come here to data validation, and then under the settings here, I want to allow list. Okay, so once I say I want to allow list, it's going to ask me for the source of the list I want to allow. Remember that I already have my source here. So if you have it on the second sheet as well, you can just go to the second sheet and pick where you listed it. So I'm going to highlight it where I have my source. So you should reference this source. Or if I know that I'll still add more products in the future, then I can just pick this entire column. So I know that I can add more products underneath it. It's going to reference it. But if I know that I'm not going to be adding any other products in the future, then I can just select this first cell alone. So I'm going to say okay. All right. So you can see in the drop down, if you click anywhere now, once a customer buys a product, you can just click what they bought, bread. Let's do that for quantity. So for the quantity, same process. Let's speed up the process. The source will now be, the source for the quantity is this. And then we'll say, okay. And then we can come back here and see what's going on. You can see, let's say the person got 2 breads or 3 breads. So you can easily change it there. And then the payment method, we can repeat the process, come here to list. What did I press? List. And then the source, you can come right here to have your source and say, okay. So we have the payment method now, and then we can click cash card transfer. Let's say the person paid cash. Another customer came. So you can just, it's very, very easy that way. Look at how fast it is. It is very, very fast. So this is how to create a static drop down in Excel. Let's say we want to confirm if the person is a regular customer, but I don't want to create the sample first. I don't want to have it anyway. So I can just click on this. So if the person is a regular customer, I want to create 3 different values, yes, no, or maybe, right? I'll click on this, come here to data validation, create the list, and under the source, you don't have to reference another data every time, right? You can specify your source here. I can just easily type yes, no, maybe. Do you understand? And then I'll press OK. So now if I click on this, you're still going to see the value. So those are 2 ways where you can do it. And if there's an error with whatever you type that you can see in the drop down, you can just go back to the source and change it there. If you change it in the source and then you come back here but it's not reflecting, just try to click on another one, like click out and click in again. You're gonna see it. Okay, let's quickly see an example of how we can do cascading. We call it dependent drop down in Excel. So that means that let's say we have region or like country column, a column that we will have list of countries that we are going to create drop down for, and we want to know the states available in that country. So it will reference, the states that will be in a country will reference the country. So it's after we've selected the country, we'll now know the states that is inside that country. All right, so that's what we call cascading, right? Or dependent drop down in Excel. So let's see a practical example of the application of this. So what we are trying to do now is to create cascading or dependent drop down such that whenever we pick a particular region, it's going to show us only the products available in that region. All right, so I've created this sheet for the different products. So let's say in the East region, this is what we have available. In the West region, in the North region rather, this is what we have available. Let me just come to this K2. Then I'll apply data validation. I want to allow list. So here I'm going to list out the different regions that I have, right? So you can see we have East, we have West, and also we have North, right? So this is the 3 different region that we have, and then we have listed the different products we have by region, right? So I'm first going to create a list, a drop down list where they can pick the region from. So you can see it's not active yet because I've not connected it right here. So this is just a list to pick the region. And then now we go ahead to connect it to the product. Now when we click on a particular region, it's going to give us the product that is available in that particular region. The next step after this is to create named ranges for each of the region. How can we create named ranges? First, we are going to select this East region, the first column, and then I'll come under the formula here. And then you're going to see the name manager under defined names. We are going to define a name. I'm going to call this particular name East. So everything I put inside this column will be in the East region. So I'm just going to call it East and I'll say okay. I'll select the second column. Just going to repeat it. I'm going to define name for each of the region. We are calling this west, and then we are calling this north. Okay, so now let's create the dependent drop down. Remember, the first thing we did was to have a list of the regions right here. We can even name the column region, right? And then we have a list of the products available by each region. So I'm going to create a data validation here that will be dependent on the region. So how will I do that? I've selected this L2 cell. I'll come to the data tab. I'll click on data validation. We want to create a list. And now the source. In the source, I'm going to use the indirect function to reference it. So I'll say indirect open bracket. So I want to reference this one. So I'll say indirect. This is in cell K2, right? The first value is in cell K2. So indirect K2. Then I'll close the bracket and say okay. So it creates a drop down. You can see we have shampoo, dishwasher. I think the reason why it's showing me the column header is because when I wanted to create the named ranges the other time, I shouldn't have selected the column header with it. So when you are doing your own, you can create it without the column header. So you can see in the west region we have shampoo and dishwasher, and that was what it showed us, right? And also, let's try to change the region. Let's change it to north. If I click on the drop down now, can you see that it's showing me rice and milk because I picked north now, right? And that is how dependence or cascading drop down works. If you're in the paid community, I'm going to give you real world scenario and projects you can create using everything we have talked about in today's class. All right, so we've come to the end of today's class, and tomorrow we are just going to be talking about working with date and time data in Excel. I know I've explained data in the other class, but I'm just going to give in more insight into how to work with date and time data in the next class. I'll see you tomorrow, and bye for now.